No matter how many times I got knocked down, there were some dark days, depressing days. And I just wanted to say, you know what? This is my life. I know what I deserve. And so when you heal, when you start to heal, not only adult trauma, but childhood trauma, let's talk about that.
Welcome to the Self-Love Experience. I'm your girl, Shara Nicole, and today I have a very, very special guest, Miss Rosetta Cox. Our little cup here, every episode, there's a cup where I can just listen to you and just sip on my tea.
Yes, honey.
Cup of tea.
Absolutely.
I have to let my audience know. Like, we go like way, way back. Like
we do, Shira.
Ernie Powell area, Towson area, neighborhood. Like, you was just like right on the next block. And
yes, yes.
Oh my God. Before I just start just like ripping off about how amazing she is, you have to realize that when I bring someone to you, I don't just let anybody on my show. But I have known Rosetta since like straight middle school. Always been such a sweet and genuine person. Just a beautiful personality. And I know you all can look at her and just see how gorgeous she is.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And it's interesting because you never know like who's watching you or who's paying attention or who remembers just how great you are, because we have like a mass amount of people on social media. But in all honesty, like, you always been one of those people that have shined and you're doing your thing and you're sharing. So I'm going to let you just kind of, tell us about you and just what you've been through, your ups, your downs, your story, and how it's gotten you to where you are today, because this woman is a boss.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come on your amazing show. I mean, let's talk about it. I am so glad to be on here, and I have been knowing you as well. So the edification that you gave me, it goes back to you because you're the same way. And so to give you guys a little bit about myself, I am 43 years old. I have two amazing sons, 21 years old and 14. I am divorced of 15 years. Post-divorce, I have rediscovered myself, reinvented myself. And self-love is something, it's a transition that I can say I have arrived, right? If you would have asked me 10 years ago, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? I would have been like, yes, I love myself. But I am here to tell you, ladies, it is a journey. And my past, the things that I've been through, has actually landed me to where I'm at in the present moment. My grandmother raised me in Gary, Indiana, on Marshall Street, which is where I met Shira. And we would hang out with each other. We went to school together, and we grew up on, decent neighborhood. And my grandmother was everything to me. So I lost her in 2005. So I lost my grandmother in 2005. I lost my brother in 2011. He was murdered. The year later, I lost my mom suddenly to heart disease. She had what you call hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a heart disease that runs in African Americans. So that was in 2012. 2016, I lost my sister suddenly to an asthma attack. And 8 months after that, I lost my father the same way. And then immediately going through a divorce after 15 years because I suffered depression. And my husband at the time, he didn't know how to deal with it. So he left. And I was there to pick up the pieces. And I was embarrassed. I was shamed. And I'm like, who's going to want to date me? Like, I just was in a really, really dark place. And I am just here to tell you, and if there's anyone that has been through anything that's such a hard experience, the only difference, I'm human, as you guys can see. There's nothing immoral about me. The only thing that I didn't do is quit. That's why I'm here. I refuse to quit. That teen girl that was insecure, right? Now she's an adult and has a family and going through all these things in life. I was able to sit back and do some self-development And that's how I was able to fall in love with myself again, Shira. And that's why my heart is passionate with teen girls and women, because we put up a facade. Now, disclosure, and all of the things that I named when I was going through it, no one could tell, because depression doesn't have a face. Sadness doesn't have a face. Grief doesn't. I was my happy self. I poured into everyone, but I was suffering in silence. I was suffering in silence. So as far as self-love, I had to start over again. And I have forgiven. You know, forgiving is not for the other person, right? It's for us. So I've been able to forgive others as well as myself. I was experiencing toxic relationships. I'm thinking, why am I attracting these kind of people? I'm a good person, but I was broken. I was not healed. So when we're not healed and we don't deal with things, I tell my audience that that's what we attract. We attract those things. But the great thing is when we start healing and seeing things with a clear vision versus a distorted vision, our life begins to change. The things that we've manifested, the things that we prayed for and asked for, it starts to happen. And you're like, why I didn't do this before? So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm just here to just express myself and explain that self-love is a journey, and it is a decision to say, you know what, I know what I deserve, and I want to attract that. So no matter what I went through in my past, and as hard as it was and hurtful as it was, now I've arrived because I get it. I get it.
Oh my gosh, my soul is just is pierced, it's tingling. You're so just honest, authentic, open. And I know that we all can relate to your story, to your journey. I didn't know that you lost your mom in 2012. I lost my mom in 2012.
Wow, Shira.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, even though this may be a little bit of a side thing, but your best friend was at my mom's funeral.
Robin?
Yes.
Yes, she's amazing.
And I just thought that was such, and it makes sense that you would attract a best friend like that because,
yes,
you know, she's the same way. I don't, you know, I again haven't seen her since high school. And she saw it on Facebook and she showed up.
She's amazing. She's that type of person, Shira.
I mean, your friendship with Robin, you know, you can tell someone and how they are with how they treat their best friend. Like, how do you treat your best friend? That says a lot.
Exactly.
And you all are just absolutely amazing. I love it. Something that you said with everything that was going on with the deaths that's, you know, happened in your family. And that's one of the things I have learned how to deal with a lot. But that particular subject is still very difficult for me. Grief, and I don't know. I don't know how to handle it. And you kept having all those situations happen back to back, and you know, the brother and the sister, and so much of it was unexpected. And then you're in a marriage and you're depressed, and you know, the guy's like, I don't know how to deal with this, and you're like, well, why don't you know how to deal with this? You know. And maybe not even know how to articulate exactly what's going on with you at the time.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, think about it. We were raised in church, we went to school, but no one taught us how to deal with grief. So, you know, I did seek counseling, you know, and therapy, and that helped me a lot. I would tell people it's okay to get therapy, you know. I felt that I was brave getting it because the stereotype. And although I was at that time in management, I was running a store. The store that I was managing was generating a lot of revenue, one of the top stores in the region at that time. But I was functioning while depressed. So I threw myself into work. But I said, you know what? Self-care, right? Because that's what it's all about. And a form of self-care is saying, you know what? I need to talk to somebody and not worry about what people think. Because therapists see therapists, right? People don't know that.
Exactly. Now, was there a moment that made you say, okay, this isn't who I want to be. I don't want to sit in these feelings. I don't want to sit in depression. Yes. Was there a moment or like this was the last straw, let me do something?
Yes, the last straw for me was when, at the time when I was married, my spouse, he disregarded what I was going through. Now that I'm older, And he was a great man, great father. He just wasn't taught how to deal with emotions and feelings, right? A lot of men are taught to be tough. So seeing me cry to him was a sign of weakness. And anybody knows me know that I'm never weak, right? But to him, I was, because of the stereotype, right? How could you be so weak? How could you shake it off? There's nothing wrong with you. It's life. It happens. So it created a lot of things in the household. So we checked out. We both checked out. And the last straw for me was he got me so upset. And I was always upset and yelling and fussing. And I'm like, my kids deserve better than this. I can't function being a miserable person because I'm generally a happy person. And that's the way that God created me. And so all these emotions and all these feelings that I was feeling in the way that my marriage was failing. And I'm just like, God, like, I need to talk to someone. So what I did, which I don't recommend anyone to do this, I wanted to prove a point to people. So for a long time, I did not seek help. Oh, what's going to happen to Rosetta? Oh, she lost her mother, her father, her sister, her brother. Oh, I know she's going to lose her mind. So me being the competitive that I am and my competitive spirit, right? I'm like, I'm good. And I wasn't.